If you want to make more money as an editor, pretty much the only way you're going to be able to do that without burning out like crazy and working insane hours is going to be by raising your prices. We're coming up to, I think, 3 years from my first ever commission. So my first ever commission was for $5 in February 2021. It's almost February 2024. So it's been 3 years. And in that time, I've gone from $5, well, technically $2.50 because I got scammed for half of it. But now I'm charging more like $1,000, $1,500 for the videos that I make. And that might sound insane to you, and I know there's gonna be one dumbass that thinks I'm lying, but if you believe me or not, I don't really give a shit. What I'm gonna show you is the 3 things that hold so many editors back, hundreds of thousands of editors who have so much potential, but they never get to raise their prices and make their money they want because of these 3 things. Reason number 1 is you honestly have zero focus. I want you to imagine that you've got 5 rocket ships, so they're all lined up, they're on the ground, and you've got a single can of fuel. So in order for you to take these rockets off, what you do is you get that can of fuel and you split it across the 5 rockets. You put 20% in each one. And now you're waiting, you know you have a delivery for another fuel can in a few days. So as soon as you know that one of them takes off, that next fuel can, you're going to put all of it into the one that works. So now the 5 rockets, each with 20% fuel, are in front of you. You're waiting, minutes pass, hours pass, days pass, and none of them take off. So now you're wondering that, oh, maybe the rockets aren't working, maybe the fuel was like out of date. I don't know if fuel goes out of date or not, but you're saying that maybe there's something wrong with the rockets or the air temperature's not right, something like that, right? So now it's been months that you've been waiting and you have the second can of fuel ready, but none of them have taken off, so you don't know which one to go all in on. But looking at it from afar, you can tell like obviously it's not taking off. It's because the way you get a rocket to take off is by giving it enough fuel. And the thing is, this might seem silly to you. It might be like, oh, obviously the reason none of them are taking off is because you need to put all the fuel in one. It's not like you put a little bit of fuel in each one and you wait for what takes off. You have to put all the fuel in one and then that's how you get it to take off. But the thing is, so many people make the same mistake of splitting all their fuel, but in their editing career. They'll be putting in a little bit of fuel into editing, then a little into social media marketing, and then a little bit into starting a new agency, and maybe they should do drop shipping, and it's like this IT software course that I was trying as well. It's like they're doing all these different things and they're waiting for which one will take off. But what they fail to realize is the reason they're not making the money they want, the reason they're not making money in any of them, is because the way you make money in business is by choosing one and putting everything into it. Because the truth is, with those 5 rockets that were in front of you, any of them could take off. But by you trying to just try all of them and see which one will, you ensure that you never leave the ground. So just ask yourself now, if we're being honest, have you had these thoughts of like, oh, should I start an agency? Should I start like social media marketing? Should I start like YouTube automation? Or should I get into AI stuff? Like, you're doing all these different things. How do you expect to be a guy who's slowly getting better at editing? Because a lot of people don't want to hear this, and honestly, a lot of these other editing YouTubers, they don't tell you this. But if you want to make a lot of money editing, you need to be good at editing. And this is gonna sound insane. It's like, wait, Malice, I can't just use like this one AI tool. No, you can't. There are high-paying creators out there. There are YouTubers, streamers, creators that are willing to pay thousands, not per month, but per video. And if you want to be someone who's working with these guys, even if you want to work with someone that's paying $200-300 a video, they are expecting a good editor. So now the reason you don't have clients and you're not able to raise your prices, it's not the creator's fault, because these creators, they are paying someone else. Because there's so many editors out there, and I hope you're not one of them, who honestly bitch about and they say like, oh, no one wants to pay me, it's so hard to get clients. Yes, it is going to be hard to get clients for you. Because you need to take accountability and say, the only reason I'm not making the money I want is my fault. If I can't raise my prices and everyone's saying no, it's because my editing isn't good enough. It's because I'm not branding in the right way. It's because I haven't mastered this craft and people don't want to pay for it. And the reason I'm honestly like kind of pissed about this is I not only see so many other editors falling into this trap of like, oh, woe is me, I wish I could raise prices, but the world is against me. It's like, I'm kind of shitting on them and I hope we can change their minds. I hope that's not you. But honestly, I had the same mindset when I was younger. When I got into the content editing space, so what you do right now, like YouTube videos and stuff, I was transitioning from Fortnite highlights. So I used to do like montages, so these clips you used to put together, and I used to charge like $15-20 a video. And the reason I transitioned into the content editing space, I'll be honest, this isn't gonna sound nice, but I saw one of my friends who was in there already. His name was Vice and we're still good friends, so it's like, if he's saying this, I know there's no hate. We actually had like a Fortnite team. We started a Fortnite team and me and him were the founders, the owners of that Fortnite team, and he showed me a picture of him getting a $200 commission. And bear in mind, we're only like 16 years old at the time. So I'm here literally working like 30 to 40 hours a week while in full-time education. I was in school at the time and I was seeing this guy make like 10, 20 times more than me in less time, and he's also in school doing well. And I think the reason I was jealous was like I felt entitled to getting paid that amount. I was like, no, if he's getting paid that much, why shouldn't I? I'm working hard as well. But what I didn't realize at the time was that the reason I wasn't getting paid much was honestly I wasn't worth that much money. This might be harsh to say, but a lot of editors will snap back at me, but honestly I'll have the humility to say it. I wasn't even worth minimum wage at the time, and it might actually serve you if you aren't making minimum wage. Maybe you aren't worth that amount. We're gonna work on fixing that, but first we need to take accountability that our income isn't determined by like someone else or the universe going against us, or oh, I was born in this country, that's why I can't charge much. You need to take full accountability for how much money you're making. The only reason you're making how much you are is because that's how much you deserve. If you are making 10k a month from editing, that's because you deserve it. If you're making 5k a month from editing, that's because you deserve it. If you're making 1k a month from editing, that's because you deserve it. If you're not making anything from editing, that's because you deserve that. I used to have this phrase written on my wall, and I think it's going to serve you. Your income is a direct symptom of the value you provide. It's not based on anything else. It's a direct symptom. The only reason your income will grow is because your value that you have provided to the marketplace has grown. We live in a capitalist society where pretty much if you give value, if you help other people, people will give you money back, and that's amazing. It's awesome. And someone might say like, oh, our world is evil. We're so corrupt. It's like, why should money allow that to happen? It's like, you can cry and do whatever about that, but the truth is that's how everything runs. The reason that you paid for the PC or the monitor or your phone that you're watching this on right now is because it has given you value. You are able to entertain yourself. You're able to learn through this device that you're on, and you paid money for it. In the same way, when you provide a creator value, when you free up his time by you editing his videos, when you increase the quality of his videos, when you give the viewers more satisfaction because of your editing, that's value you've given to the marketplace. And like we said, the more value you give, the more money you make. And in order for you to become such a good editor, someone who can provide so much value in this one area of life, it takes work. The only way you make decent money, even like 1k a month from any business, whether that be editing or anything else, is by becoming a top 1% editor. Because you can look around you to the hundreds and thousands of editors around you. They're all complaining about staying up late, having shitty clients. If they get clients at all, everyone ghosting them. That is the life of a 99 percentile editor. The guy that kind of got into it as a hobby and now wants to make money, and he never ends up making anything from it. So if you want to join this 1%, if you want to join the guys that actually try with editing, and honestly, it's not too hard to make a shit ton of money from editing. Sure, to get to like 1 or 2k, it's kind of easy, but like to get to like 10k, as long as you put in some work and you actually invest right and you do all these things correctly, you can actually make a stupid amount of money from editing. But do you think you're going to get into that top few percent when you're trying to balance it with all these other things, when you're trying to start an agency, when you're looking into YouTube automation, you're watching like motivational videos, but really you're just jealous of some guy that's on Money Twitter and he's posting like how to make 100k a month, and you're just watching these tweets instead of editing. So the very first thing we need you to do for you to start raising your prices is to have focus. Pick one business model. You're already in editing, so you already have this unfair advantage, and if you're watching me, you're already an editor. So your business model is now editing. Stop thinking about agencies. Stop thinking about YouTube automation. If that's something you want to do, go for it. But don't do both, because that's gonna fucking kill you. And once you've chosen that one business model, pick one software. I always say use Premiere Pro, honestly, because I can help you the most. If you look up to me and you want to learn from me, switch to Premiere Pro now. I've made videos on this, but you want to pick one software, not, oh, kind of Premiere and then kind of DaVinci and then kind of Sony Vegas. I've heard like this other one's kind of cool, and this AI one that kind of does it all for you, I think. It's like, how do you expect to beat a motherfucker like me, really and truly, when everyone else was telling me to do After Effects and go into After Effects fully and then go into Premiere kind of and like learn both? Do you think I would have gotten as good as I am now? While all of those other people told me to do that, I've beaten all of them while I do most of my work in Premiere. The reason you're not good at editing isn't because you don't have After Effects, isn't because you don't have this one plugin. It is because you haven't spent enough time on one software. I promise you, you're gonna make that switch soon anyway, especially if you're following me. If you resonate with my message, I can help you a lot more if you are on Premiere. Sure, After Effects, DaVinci, they have their spot. Like even After Effects, sometimes I'll use it for rotoscoping, I'll use it for like one single animation, but 99% of my work is in Premiere. If you know you're gonna make the switch soon, make it now. The reason I'm saying that, you might be thinking that, oh, but I've already learned this software. Like if you're not making much money from editing now, I promise you, what you feel like you're losing isn't much. You're literally going from like, okay, maybe you're making $100 a month, maybe you're not making anything. You're going from that to zero, but you are pretty much on zero anyway. anyways. You don't want to get to like 500, 1,000 a month and then be like, oh, now I want to switch, but now you have so much more to lose. Because the truth is, I can get a lot of editors through both smooth animation and teaching all these skills, and even like the software side of things, I can teach them, and I get editors to that 5, 10k a month. So if you're gonna take my advice, take it fully. Don't like half-ass it. Don't listen to some things, then don't listen to others, and then you take this other guy's advice. It's like, trust me when I say, a lot of these other guys, this is a side topic, a lot of these other guys do not give a fuck about you, bro. Alex Hormozi, another entrepreneur, guy's doing like I think 200, 250 million a year right now. I was listening to one of his podcasts and he was talking about this idea of don't be cute. And that sounds a bit weird at first, but what it means is when you're following someone's system, if someone gives you a system to follow that has worked for them and you would like to implement that, don't start taking parts of it and then switching in this one thing here and there thinking that you know better. Like if you were trying to become like a professional footballer, like a soccer player or whatever, and your coach gave you this drill which was like, okay, there's these lunges and then this running drill and then this sprint. It's like if you had this long list of tasks to do and you as an amateur football player, someone that hasn't played football properly before, says, actually I think I'm gonna change the lunges for more sprinting. I think that will be better because like I heard from this other place that sprinting is important and I think that it would be better in my opinion. It's like, if you don't have the results, no offense, but your opinion doesn't matter. Every single time I try mixing different courses together and I say, oh, I'll take a bit from here, a bit from here, it doesn't work. The reason the system works is because it's all put together. So I'm telling you now, go through Premiere. This is going to be a bit controversial, but the earlier you can change, the better it's going to be. The second reason that you can't raise your editing prices is because of fear. So a lot of editors that I coach that are in calls with me, that I go into like my private community and stuff, they say that they're scared of raising their prices. So then I ask them, okay, so what are you scared of? And they're saying, oh, I'm scared of getting rejected. I'm scared of like them saying no, I'm scared of getting dropped. And then I asked them, have you actually had that happen to you before? Like, where does this fear come from? And then they take a moment to recollect their thoughts, to have their memories come back of when they got rejected. And they told me it hasn't happened before. Sure, they might get ghosted here and there. Getting ghosted is normal, but in terms of having the client and then raising the prices at a later date, they've never actually even tried it. For a lot of editors, the reason they can't raise their prices isn't because they're scared of rejection. It's because they haven't even tried raising their prices at all. Let's say you're charging $50 right now. How can you expect someone to pay you $100 if you haven't even given them the offer? Imagine if I was still like from a year ago and I was charging $200, let's say, for a video. If there was a huge YouTuber with 20, 30 million subscribers and I gave him the offer of $200, but in my head I wanted $1,000, how stupid would it be if I would be expecting him to be like, no, I don't want to pay you $200, I want to pay you $1,000. It's like, that's not gonna happen in any reality. So as stupid as it sounds, for you to raise your prices, a lot of the time it just comes down to you raising your prices. You being okay with telling someone that, sorry bro, I've been a little busy recently, so I have a lot of clients, so I'm gonna need to charge this much more now. Hey bro, I really love working together, but my schedule's full. I need to raise my prices. Here's what I charge. You need to be so much more firm with it and have this almost like outcome independence. Outcome independence is this idea that whether this person says yes or no, it doesn't matter to you. You still like are confident, you still know who you are. Outcome independence is something they talk a lot about in social skills, in like confidence, in charisma and stuff. It's where you're able to go up to a random person on the street, talk to them, and whether they have a positive reaction, which honestly 99% of people will act positively towards you if you talk to them, or even the 1% of times where they like fucking bark at you or some shit, whether they accept you or reject you as a person has no effect on you. Your emotions are still intact because you are outcome independent. So in the same way, when you raise your prices, we want you to have that same confidence, that same outcome independence. Whether this guy says yes or no, it's fine. You have like this abundance. You know that you have so many other creators waiting to work with you. We need to get rid of your fear. We need to get you comfortable with that feeling of rejection, because rejection is a normal part. If you aren't willing to get rejected and rejected and rejected as a businessman, you're gonna fail, because 99% of people are going to ignore you. Bro, look at my Twitter. I've got I think like 7,000 followers right now. I've got one of the larger like Twitters in the editing space. I'm basically working with the largest guys, and I still have some smaller guys that ignore me. Sometimes I'll outreach and I get ignored. That's a normal part of the game. Do you think that I would have gotten to the point where I am now if I DM'd 5 guys, 10 guys, 15 guys and they all ignored me and I just stopped outreaching completely? Bro, I promise you, I have quite literally over the last few years probably outreached to about 1,000 creators. Maybe 800-900 of them have ignored me, so only like 10% of them actually reached out back to me. And even just from that, I was able to build a career where I'm working with the largest creators in the world, making more money than I know what to do with. 90% of interactions that you go into will be rejections. 10% of them will accept you. 1% of them will change your life. So I think you know now that it's pretty important that we get comfortable, we get good with sitting in this fear of rejection. In fact, let's go even deeper into it. Let's find out, why are we actually scared of rejection? Because rejection on its own, why should it be scary? It's just a few words. Because when you really think about it, rejection, it's just like someone saying no, it's just someone ghosting you. Why does it have such like a physiological, such a like scary feeling inside of us? The reason you have a fear of rejection isn't because of fear itself, but because of what it represents. When a client says no, when you hear that word no, what goes along with it is the clients, the money, the potential to up-level your editing career. You lose all of these. So the way we get rid of our fear of rejection is by getting rid of our need for money or clients. There's this quote which I love, which is, when you're someone in business that doesn't need the money, sure, you have a good relationship with it, you want to make money, but you kind of don't care about money or not. Whether you're broke or you're making like 15, 20k a month, you're the same person. When you know that, it's honestly scary. When you're the competitor, that money or not, you don't really care. This is what puts fear into their hearts. I quite literally had like my sister tell me this recently, where it's like, you make a good amount of money, Sayeef, but you still live like a pretty minimal lifestyle. Like, of course my room I've done up, that was a one-time thing, but most of my days I spend in like a black t-shirt, the same chain that I got 3 years ago, I'm still wearing it. Like, most of my expenses are pretty much just food and experiences. I'm not a materialistic guy. So think about how much more confidence I go about with in business with rejections, when I know that if this person says no, it's not like my lifestyle's gonna be affected. So instead of having like this neediness around money, almost delude yourself to tell yourself like, nah, like money or not, yeah, I'm the same person. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to make like 5, 10k a month, but at the end of the day, if I'm making nothing, I'm still the same person. I see this more as a game. While most editors are running after clients, what I told myself, this was years ago, and the mindset that I've held, which is editing is the game, and the way we keep score is by our prices and our clients. So me outreaching to 100 creators, 200 creators, 300 creators, it's no longer like, oh, I get rejected, oh, I get rejected. All it feels like, you know when you're fishing in Minecraft, like, you know in Minecraft you can get like the fishing rod and you can put it in water, and sometimes it bops up and you can get it, and sometimes you miss the bop up. So if you click at the right time, it'll give you a fish. If you don't, it doesn't give you a fish. When I'm outreaching and I get rejected, all it feels like is I mistimed it, and it's like, okay, cool, just put the fishing rod back in the water, we'll try it again. It's like, I don't have an emotional investment over someone saying no to my prices. And this isn't me saying that you shouldn't be ambitious. Like, bro, like, I like money as well, don't get me wrong. I had this mindset, but I still told myself I want to get a high score. I still, like, I'm competitive as shit, but it was this mindset that kind of gave me that confidence to outreach to so many more people without me having that emotional investment. So don't be a bitch about it when you are raising your prices. It's not that you're going to a client and you're saying that, oh, can I raise my prices? I think it would be a good time to raise my prices. Please, can we do it? It's like, will that be okay with you, daddy? Like that's not what you're saying. You're telling them that you're raising your prices. There's a very fine line between can I raise my prices and you saying that I am raising my prices. In the same way that, let's say someone is taking a piss out of you in real life. Let's say you've got like the school bully, someone in school. What would the difference be? Imagine that he's bullying you and you're like, please, can you stop bullying me? Compared to you saying, don't talk to me in that way. Of course, we don't need to be rude about it, but like being assertive and telling people like, no, don't talk to me in that way. Don't do that. When you remove your fear of rejection, when you remove your fear of losing this person in your life, when you remove your fear of losing this client saying no, in a weird way, you actually get more of the thing that you were scared of losing. When you are okay with losing clients, sure, you might drop off a couple here or there, but in the long term, you get so many more clients that like you and respect you. Before telling you the third tip, I actually just want to tell you a story. So I'm in second year college. This was a year and a half ago. And I recently just bought these gymnastic rings. In fact, I'll show you what they are. It's these things where it's like you can put them on like a tree and like you can do exercises. I'll have B-roll on them now. But pretty much I bought those and I wanted to train with people, and I had no one to train with because it's like nobody really does rings. Nobody, like, it's not exactly normal for people to just go to a tree and start working out. So I started asking around. I'm asking people like, yo bro, do you want to come train rings with me? Because I have no one to train with. Like, I'd love for someone to train with me. And everyone's pretty much saying like, yeah, sure, like I'll come, like, yeah, that sounds fun and stuff. And I give them a day. I tell them all that I'm going tomorrow and I'm gonna be in this exact place, be here at this time, and everyone's saying yes, yes, yes. I've got like 10 guys saying they're gonna come. Now the next day comes around, I've got my backpack on, the rings in the backpack with like the strings and everything, ready to go to a tree. I'm at the tree now that I'm going to do the workout at. I'm calling them, and one by one they're all saying that they can't make it. It was genuinely so embarrassing. Like, even saying the story makes me cringe. I told 10 people to come. Every single one of them cancelled on me. And it was at this time that I was reading this book. A lot of you will have heard of it already, but if you haven't, it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It talks about social skills and how to honestly get people to like you and talk in a way which people actually want to listen to you. And there was this one chapter in the book, this one principle called talk in terms of the other person's interests. I'm reading through this and it's telling me that how when you want someone to do something, you don't tell them what you want them to do. You tell them why it benefits them. And I'm reading through this and I'm realizing all this time, the reason nobody came to do rings with me to hit that workout was because all I cared about was myself. I told them that I wanted to have more people to work out with. I have no one to train with. I would like to go to the park. But it's like I never once thought, what's in it for them? I read this chapter and I'm someone that likes to implement things quite quickly. When I learn, I think going from learning to action is really important, like closing up that gap. So I implemented this straight away. Literally within 2 days, I was going around my college in the library telling people that, yo, I'm gonna go rings today, do you wanna come? So I didn't even give them any notice. But instead of me saying that I want someone to train with me, what I told them instead is that there's gonna be other people there and I think that they're gonna really enjoy it. And I asked them, have you ever tried ring workouts before? And I'm telling them like, you know what, I think you'd really enjoy it. You seem like someone that would enjoy it. I'm going around the library one by one, kind of like just with this like kind of like happy vibe telling people, and I was genuinely enjoying it. It actually is kind of nice for me to tell them like, yeah, you can have fun as well. Like, you want to enjoy yourself when you come. 2 hours later, school's ended, we're all in the park and I'm doing like flips and shit on my rings while everyone bears around me. And it's such a beautiful thing where like we're all taking turns, and don't get me wrong, there were people that couldn't do it, but it's like, it's fine. It was so vibes. Like, even though like a lot of people, like I was so new to it, so even me, like I was doing some tricks and stuff, I couldn't do all of them. Some people were like just practicing holding on, and if you haven't done rings before, holding on is hard on its own. But it's like, it was just such a beautiful moment where it's like, not only is everyone else enjoying themselves, like I did tell them, but I actually benefited as well, because now I have a vibrant social circle around me. What this whole experience taught me, and what might serve you, is the sad reality is nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody cares what you want. Nobody cares about the friends you want to make. Nobody cares about the money you want to be paid. Nobody cares about the prices that you want to raise. People only care about what's in it for them. So when you're thinking about raising prices, are you thinking that you want to make more money, that you want to raise prices, or do you frame it in a way which is like, yeah, it's in the client's best interest? It's weird. It's like me saying to a client that it's actually better for him to pay me more money, instead of saying I want to raise my prices, or is it okay if I can increase my prices because I want to make more money from this? Oh, I edit for full time, so I really need to make money. Instead of saying that, hey bro, I've been loving your videos and I've really enjoyed working together, and I've been pretty busy recently and I want to make sure that I can focus on your videos. I'm charging this much now. Is that all good? If he says yes, then you take up on it. You've given the price that you want. He said yes, happy days. If he says no, that it's too out of his budget, I used to always like negotiate down. So let's say I'm offering $200 and the guy says, can we do 150? I used to always go down, or I'd be like, can we do 180 maybe? Right now, do you know what I do? Hey bro, I understand my editing's not for everyone. I can't lower my prices because I don't want to give in work that isn't my best. So can you see how I'm saying that by me having higher prices, you get a better video? How is a client going to say then, no, I still want to do $150 a video, I want a shit video? No client is going to say that they want a bad video, so it's in their best interest to pay you more. These social skills, you realize that they carry you so far. How to Influence and Influence People. If you haven't read that book, go read that book. God tier book. If you want to get into business, which editing is a business, you're going to have to learn social skills. A lot of editors, they get really good at editing, and honestly their business side is lacking, and that's the constraint in their business, that's the thing holding them back. How to Influence and Influence People. If you can internalize that book, not only will you make a shit ton more money, but your outside life will be a lot happier too. So go implement all of that. Go like, you can subscribe. It's like basically what I do. I'll give you a little pitch for my channel and shit. I'm gonna be a little salesman now. Basically, we help video editors make a fuck ton of money. I went from like making like literally nothing, so I did this as a hobby, doing Fortnite videos, making over like 5 to 10k a month. I've had multiple 10k a months. My best month was like $13,000. Right now I'm editing like 3 videos a month. I make like 5k a month. So it's like, I'd say I'm in a pretty good position where if I want to make 10, 11, 12k a month, I've done it before, and whenever I want to make money, it's kind of weird. It's like, it feels as though I can snap my fingers and make money. So it's just such a good feeling, man. Like whenever I want to buy something now, it's like I can just reach out to a client and be like, yo bro, can I take a video on? And within 24 hours, I have the money to do whatever I want. And I find it so fulfilling that I'm able to coach people and I help video editors do the same thing. So through videos like these and other videos on my channel, so you can like, subscribe, go through other videos like this. If you're interested in like books and stuff, I'm talking like whatever now because I don't give a fuck about retention. If you want to learn more about like books and the books that I've read, so How to Influence and Influence People was a book that I recommended. I have it next to my bedside table right now. Not table. So it's one of those books there. I literally have it next to my bed because of how much I read it. I genuinely think that reading has changed my life. I've made a fuck ton of money. Like over the last 2 years, I've made about 90 or 100k. Yeah, I've made about 100k over the last few years. I'm 18, turning 19 in like a week. And what's the word? Attribute? What's the word? Bro, what's the word? I credit so much of that to just reading, and honestly, like, I'm just some random guy that started in my bedroom and I'd love to take you on the same journey. So yeah, do all that shit. Watch that books video. You can, it's one of the recent videos. But yeah, take peace. Bye. Fucking, I messed up. I said take peace. Take care. Peace.